I know you, I can feel you with the green of soul. It's more than empty dreams and promises. It's not infecting me no more. When all I say to you is getting gone, you won't be feeling me no more. I know you, I can feel you with the green of souls. When you're not looking at me, I feel so slow. When all those dreams of all our memories, there's not being alone at one. And thoughts of you just bring me down inside. I sing it with the green of souls. I know you, I can feel you with the green of souls. When you're not looking at me, I feel so slow. Get your hands up. It's more than empty dreams and promises.
All right. Welcome to the listening room. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, like the video. For all the content, you guys are amazing. All right, you guys. I'm in here. All right, you guys, my guest today is an extremely talented and hardworking director of film and television. He is credited with writing, directing, and editing films that have been released theatrically on Netflix, Redbox, BET, and have been distributed all over the world. After graduating from the prestigious Howard University with his master's in film, he moved to Hollywood to pursue what he knew was his ultimate calling. His first film, Dysfunctional Friends, starred an ensemble cast including Megan Good, Wesley Jonathan, Essence Atkins, and more, while his next film saw his foray into mainstream horror genre with The Lost Coast Tapes, which was picked up for worldwide distribution in 2012. While lots of directors tend to stay genre-based, my guest has a knack for shooting films in any genre on any subject and doing them well. Just some of these films include comedies such as Sister Code and I Got the Hookup Too, to erotic thrillers like Illicit, and a soon-to-be-released sci-fi thriller titled Athena. His most recent efforts boast a hit television show now on Urban Flix TV called Pump, starring Michael J. White, Ray J, and more. Please welcome to the show a great filmmaker and good friend, Mr. Corey Grant. And little did I know we would be being graced with the talented producer, actor Lanett Tachel as well. I mean, had I known you'd have been here, I would have made sure and made an awesome intro for you, too.
It's all right. I got a great intro from you and from Daisy.
Nice. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having us, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I always like to start my day off like I like to start my show off like I like to start my day off with a little bit of gratitude. And today I am so happy and grateful that I have the ability to, the ability for faith. That I'm capable of faith, and not just faith in a higher power, which I have, but faith in myself, faith in my friends, faith in the situation when things aren't necessarily what you want them to be, or what you're trying to make them be. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes when things are going awry, or when things are just maybe a little chaotic, just being able to have faith in yourself to make the right decisions, being able to have faith in those closest to me to also make the right decisions, and carry weight when necessary, and and faith in the situation to just kind of to work out okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%. I mean, just having a spiritual base is something that you have to have, number one.
Totally.
Whether it be a higher power or something within yourself.
Absolutely.
Just being able to maintain that, for one. And then number two, you gotta realize, like, you're here. You know what I mean?
Totally, dude.
You are here, you are breathing, you are alive.
Presence.
Yeah.
And then being thankful for the people you have around you that are like-minded, that are help pushing you, that believe in you. You know what I mean?
I love that.
And if you, sometimes I think a lot of us sometimes we don't take a step back to see the good things that are happening in our lives. We always focus on what's next or what's not good or whatever, but we never focus on what we've done and what we have at the current time.
Yeah.
And I think if we take a step back and really think, I think, you know, it helps your perspective going forward.
Yeah.
And getting that, having that faith that everything's gonna be cool and you're right where you're supposed to be at the right time.
I love that, and you talk about that when you what you said right there is super important. And I actually have I've talked about that on the show before about celebrating small wins.
Yeah.
Like acknowledging when you're doing well on a daily basis. You know, not just like for the final goal. Once I'm finished with this movie, then I'll feel good, or then I'll reward myself. No, like acknowledging the small little wins of yourself, and those small little wins in having faith in yourself, having faith in your people. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, just what you're reading that bio, and I'm looking, I was like,
Huh.
I did do that. Oh, I did. Oh,
You
wow.
did some things.
You think about it that way, okay.
Yeah, right.
You don't think like that when you're in the moment, though. You think about what's next, and that's that when you're driven.
Exactly.
And want you don't you got what's next? What's next? You know,
Right.
You know,
But that's the thing, though, too, that the finish line always moves. So it's impossible to
Constantly
say
moving.
that you're going to
Absolutely.
celebrate when this happens.
That's right.
Because when it happens, you're already 20 steps into the next thing that needs to be happening. So
making a great point.
you have to celebrate the small wins.
You're so
Yeah.
right, because you're right. You're so right, because even when you hit that big goal that you think is going to
That's the
fulfill
one.
you, there's always another one. There's
Yes.
always
Yeah.
something else you're looking forward to,
Yes.
because time goes on. Life happens. It's not like you've reached something and now you can sit on the couch for the rest of your life and have a
Right.
smile on your face. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, I like that. The finish line is always moving. That's
Yeah.
that's so key. What are you grateful for today, man? Give me something you're
I
grateful
mean,
for.
first I'm grateful to be here.
Love that,
One,
man.
And being able to sit there and build and talk with you and create
Awesome.
and stuff. But also, I mean, for family, my friends, and the simple fact that, you know, if you'd asked me last year where I've been today, I'd probably have been like, maybe not so much. You know what I mean? So it just shows how grateful I am as to what we've accomplished the last year. And then just going forward. But I mean, the
Very
fact that I'm here
cool.
breathing and so many people are not doing that right now with this
Yeah.
crazy
Sure.
time. I mean, that's enough for me. I'm very happy. I'm just very happy to be here. And
I
still
love
be
that.
creating.
That's
Yeah.
very cool. That's very humble. That's very humble. How about you, Lanett?
I am super grateful today and every day just for abundance. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that in every single area of my life there is from my family members' health, because that's so huge, to just the people that I've realized have my back harder than I ever knew that they had it, to the people that every single project I feel like, especially with the last couple things that we've done jointly, whether it was TV or film, there's like this ball of people you start with, and then the ball grows a little bigger and it grows a little bigger, and it's just kind of like after a while you realize, wow, there's like a little nation of people that you can count on.
So you really feel that like your being able to trust in your team and those closest to you actually lifts your personal abundance.
A million. It's when you're freer to give because you trust the
course.
people that you're building with.
Of course.
You're freer to give. You're freer to share, and then that it makes them more receptive. More opportunities come your way because of it. You're able to give more opportunities, and it just is such a reciprocity. And it's just the more we're able to pour into other people, the more we get poured into, and it's so much abundance.
Absolutely.
And when you sit back over the course of this pandemic, and you have to look at it like, my God, we're still able to, be in post for this project, and it doesn't stop us from creating because we still have an abundance of creativity.
Right.
It's just,
And that's the crazy thing too, is because we were talking before, before we were on here, but you're actually so right, in being able to be grateful for that abundance, especially in this time where there's not really, when you look at your external circumstances, and there might not be a whole lot of things, but you can also look at your life on a macro scale and say, look, I am so grateful for the people who are in my life,
Man.
my team, the projects that I'm currently working on and have finished, and you're my dog, and
I
whatever
know,
it may
my
be.
dog.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
it may be that in your life that you're totally grateful for, and when you start to acknowledge those things in real time, even in the moment when the,
Out
in
loud.
the external out loud is
Yeah.
huge. Writing it down, and that's always what I say too on the show. I always like to say, that it's being active in your mental and emotional health is key. And I find that acknowledging the things you're grateful for is one of the most is one of the best ways to stay active in your mental and emotional health. And I find that asking yourself what you're grateful for, acknowledging those things, writing them down, saying them out loud, talking about them with people, and continuing to do that, because when you have to do is you have to attempt and practice, because it's a practiced art to stay in that consciousness of abundance, of gratitude, of self-growth, of all these things we're talking about here, because it doesn't come naturally. And not only does it not come naturally, the world throws shit at you all day long. So if you don't practice being grateful, if you don't practice being centered, if you don't practice thank God for the things that I do have, and really building an emotional relationship with that gratitude, then the world will overrun you.
For sure.
The world will overrun you emotionally and mentally, and you just won't be able to get out of it. And it also goes back to what we were talking about earlier about who you put yourself around.
Yeah, for sure.
And aligning with people who are aligned with your highest interests.
I always say, like, when you see me, you see like the same core people around, or extension of that every time out. You may see a couple new people come in and out here and there, but that same core is there because those are people we've built with over the years.
And that's important to you, correct?
It's very important, because at the same time, it's like these are people that have expertise in their own department, what they do.
Of course.
And when you allow people to be creative, be an expert in what they do, and collab with them, you know what I mean, it uplifts everything.
It's empowering. It's empowering for the person. It's empowering for you, because you get somebody's best. It's I feel like when people feel like you want their best selves, and you're not waiting to be condescending or waiting to find error with whatever it is that they present, it's a lot more freeing, and then people can give great work.
Absolutely. And to go on top of that, not even just not even just like a negative or a positive, but even more of like to also giving people like I really like how you guys said about how you're allowing creative people to come to the table, and even if in the smallest jobs, so when you're allowing people to give you their input every once in a while, what happens is these people will always find some ownership in that. And they'll say, man, I talked to Corey, he'll go home and his spirits will be lifted, and guess what, he's going to give you 1.5 million the next day, because he's going to be like, Corey took he like listened to what I had to say, like
everybody,
man, you know what I'm saying, like, and that real collaboration and respect.
You have to respect what people bring to the table, and I do 100% because I know a lot of different aspects of stuff. I know what I'm best at. I know what I like, but I also understand that, hey, I don't do special effects makeup. I know what I like. Hey, I know sound. I've done sound, but I'm not a sound mixer. You know what I mean?
But you respect what goes into it.
Music, but I play trumpet and I can read music, but I'm not a composer. I'm not an Eddie Booz. I know what I like to hear, but if I sit back and say, hey, check this out, what are you thinking? And sit back, those creative juices get to flowing, and 100%. People come in.
I like that.
And then when people are able to feel like they can come in and bring their creativity and what they bring to the table, and let them do what they do and sit back, just back up. Then that's when you start to get the best. Like, people look at some of our projects over the years and can't understand, like, how did you make it look like this? The music? How'd you get all this stuff? It's letting people do what they do.
Sure.
Allowing people to be creative.
And it doesn't just boost morale. It actually is the best thing for the project. You know what I mean?
The best thing
for the whole,
for everybody.
Exactly. Which is good, and that kind of brings me to like your project, our project, all of our projects here. I actually got to write some original music for this for this show, Pump, which Lanett, you played Tamika, correct?
Yep, I played Tamika, and I'm the co-creator of the show. And writer.
No kidding. And Corey, you are the director of the show, and were you the co-creator as well?
Yep.
We both created together.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's our
so
show.
This wasn't a work for hire. This was kind of a passion project. This was your baby.
It was a project that I had.
All right.
Maybe like 5-6 years, maybe like 6 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
First, it was called.
No kidding.
It was called
Crunches way back then. Yeah.
You know what? I think
maybe you remember now.
Maybe I remember like reading it or hearing about it.
A little different back then.
It was kind of, at that time, it was like a multi-camera sitcom, traditional. Kind of easy going, and at the time we took it over to BET, and they liked it, and they sat on it, like these networks do.
Sometimes,
And
yeah, it
then-
happens. You know, I've had it happen a couple
Right.
times. You
You know what
know,
I'm saying? So, but because
yeah.
we constantly creating, we don't
Yeah.
do other projects and movies or whatever.
Sure.
And then a few years ago, I was talking to Lanett. We had ended up meeting a few years back on a project that she
around
was
Sister
in.
Code time.
Sister Code.
Mhm.
Found out that she was a aspiring writer, but then we had the structure. Technically the structure, but knew how to tell stories and can write, and kind of took her under my wing. We started, bouncing ideas, and then she started becoming like a kick-ass writer to the point where I just kind of sit back like, oh, she's that good.
Knock this out.
And so we pulled Crunches back out and said, you know what? Right now, at the time we were doing it, we were trying to write for a network, trying to write what they think they wanted instead of
Gotcha.
writing what we
Instead of
want.
writing what you want.
We
to
were writing
write.
with restrictions in mind.
Of
and,
course. Oh, we can't do this if we're going to be on this network. We can't do this. We can't say that. We can't. I
Yeah.
understand.
So when we took it back,
You took it to a place where it was yours
Yes.
again.
Yeah.
and we really pushed the envelope. And then when you said we talk about people that have been in your lives, have been a blessing. Phaedra Harris,
Man.
who I first met when I first got to Hollywood. She's a major casting director. and
Sure,
producer.
sure.
Excuse me. She came on board and had a new situation at a network and thought about that show. And she's casted all of my movies. Everything I've done, she's casted. She's like a sister. And the minute she had a
And TV show now.
TV show
Yeah.
now. So she was a executive for a network. Said, I know the show I want to bring. I want to take over Crunches, which we ended up turning into Pump. And
Yep.
we completely rewrote it, revamped it, new characters, and that's how we got it on the air.
Okay, so so you've traditionally been doing cinema.
Yeah.
And what's the difference? Okay, so when you're shooting TV, is it different than shooting a film? And what I mean by that is, like, are you shooting like 3 episodes a day? Are you still shooting 12-hour days? Are you doing as much as you can to get just like as many episodes done each day? Or is it like, are you doing each day a piece of each episode, and does it take longer to film a television show? Like, what's that like?
wanna-
Well, in a traditional sense, if it was going to be for like a ABC or NBC, they focus on that one episode for that couple weeks. The director comes in, new director every couple weeks. They sit with the showrunner, go through the episode.
Interesting. So if it's like an hour-long drama show, they'll just take a couple weeks to shoot one episode.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
well, maybe even a week. The director comes in,
Depending
one
on the
prep
show.
week.
Oh, you got to think
Then
about
they
it.
shoot another
Yeah.
week, and then they're done, and they bring it. And it's a revolving door of directors.
I gotcha.
And you have to. You basically, the TV is a writer's forum.
Man.
The writers control TV, not the director. You're basically just there to kind of cover, make it look good,
Uh-huh.
do what they ask you, just keep the tone of what they're setting up.
Sure.
And which is always one of the best things for me when I was thinking about going into TV, because they
Right.
give you permission and stuff, and I didn't want that. But with as far as with us, we got the perfect opportunity to come in and become the showrunner, where we could create
Sure.
and
a
set
perfect
up
storm.
from the very beginning. And what we did was,
Now, did you work this with Netflix TV, at the
well,
beginning to get it off the ground?
Yes and no. They pretty much gave us creative freedom, which
Yeah.
is very rare. That doesn't happen.
Cool.
And they kind of left us alone, and so we approached the TV show just like we would approach a film.
movie. Mm-hmm.
Only difference was we had a pretty fast shooting schedule, but we shot maybe 2 episodes a week, but we did what's called block shooting.
Yeah.
But you did block shooting. Yeah, I know. Okay.
Just to be able to maximize the time and the location, whatever.
Right. And then, okay, so you do like 2. Okay, so and how long are each episode?
Our episodes average between like 33
To
and
40 for the
38 minutes, 40 minutes.
I think the pilot and the
You were
cliffhanger
shooting-
episode was about 40, closer to 40.
You were shooting 2 a week,
Yeah.
bro.
Well,
How many pages a day were you
well,
shooting,
yeah, remember,
dude?
Booze, we come from the independent film game.
That's how we do it.
Run and gun.
Right.
That's how we do
You
it.
learn.
Yeah,
you learn
because
by
I'm-
doing.
You're
I
right.
feel
and
you.
Because I'm an editor,
Yeah.
I know what coverage I need to have.
Yep.
And I'm able to move at a certain rate, and it looks cinematic, looks
Yep.
great. And in our mind, we're not really rushing. You know what I mean? Because
Well-
we know the coverage.
Well, also, if you're looking at it like, we knew the beginning from the end. So if you're looking at the arc of the entire, as opposed to looking at the arc of each show, you're looking at the arc of the entire thing. So there were times where we were maybe not even shooting just 2 a week, but depending on, because we're block shooting, if we're at this location, we might be shooting a piece of episode 1, a piece of episode
That's
4,
right.
a piece of episode.
Because it's
Actually,
all at this
so-
location with
yeah,
these actors
yeah.
that day.
because
so we're
we're
going to be
right
shooting
here,
and they're
and we're
of
working
course.
we worked with a great gym that we were
Our,
able to.
our last episode, a big chunk of our last episode, we shot the second day we started shooting.
Period. Yeah.
Of our last episode.
Of the very, very last. But we're looking at it with that in mind. So it's like
Yeah.
if you're looking at a feature film, you're breaking it down based on location. If you're trying to block shoot, you're breaking it down that way. We had to treat it like that for it was a nice welcome, I would say, to come from cinema style into television, because we kind of got to use some of the same methods.
Right. What's the dynamic like of that, of like having to shoot so quickly, or not having to shoot so quickly, but like shooting it as quickly as you did, like, you know, and being able to do it efficiently?
Well, it's back to what I was saying. We've been doing independent films for so long.
Yeah.
Like TV, even regular networks, they shoot pretty fast for them. But us as independent filmmakers, we shoot very fast because we don't have a lot of time, a lot of days or whatever, and we get used to it. But also the issue is, or what's good about it, because we're writers and creators, you know, from being a writer and a producer and director, you can write that script to make it easier to shoot.
Once you assess the location.
Right. For, you know, I can look at something and tell how long it's going to take to shoot a particular scene and how to block shoot it or what the cover should be. And I can be efficient with our schedules. It's all about the scheduling.
And then, so what? Okay, so here's like a really important question, because I know everybody's thinking this too. When they hear that you shot the second to last episode the first day, some of that, right?
Some of it, yeah.
Okay, so what happens is, then in my mind, I go, wow, well, you had to have some pretty good actors, because they're going to have to be pulling out that type of dynamic of already having had the experience throughout the season. You're not shooting it in sequence, so you're going to have these people who have got to pull out the emotion, pull out the already convincing, you know, relationships, you know, all that stuff. So what was that like?
Well, it's funny, like my first AD, Big Riff, who's been my AD for every project I've ever done. He works with
I met Riff on a couple things. Oh yeah, I remember Riff from Dysfunctional, and then, you know, he worked on some other things too.
Riff works with a lot of major big productions, but he stays with us because he loves how we all work together.
You guys are a good team.
But he always tells me, like, he said, you get lucky with these actors, you get lucky.
He says it all the time.
And I work with a lot of heavy hitter, a lot of great actors, very experienced actors, very notable actors. And the fact that they're able to pick up and move at the pace that we move in, and without a drop of a dime, I've probably gotten spoiled and used to that, you know. But he keeps telling me I'm gonna run into a problem at some point in time. But it hasn't happened yet.
It's gonna happen. Hopefully not. Hopefully your entire career goes untarnished without having an experience like that.
Yeah, everything's been great. So, but yeah, shout out to Ray J.
Man,
who's the lead on Pump. He came in and knocked it out the park, bro.
And Jennifer Freeman came and killed it.
Redrick.
And the camera, honestly, the camera team, I think, is also a part of the answer. Yeah, the whole cast was phenomenal.
So my DP, Eduardo Ramirez. Eduardo, I met when I was working on this movie a couple years ago. He came in as a DP through a recommendation from a producer. And Eduardo is like, man, when it comes to cinematography, he is the man.
Knows what he's doing.
Oh, the funny thing about it is he was a DP on Narcos for a season.
Nice.
And then our B cam operator, Juan Carlos, is another DP from Narcos for a different season.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And their whole squad from this whole camera and electric department are just the ish.
Dope, dude.
And
you're allowed to cuss on here.
Okay.
The shit. And they were able to just, like, we've done like 3 projects with them. That's our squad, and they move. And I'm able to articulate exactly what I want, and he gives it to me, and then some. So.
And that goes back to your original question of how can you do it so quickly. You can only move that efficiently if you have a team that you 1000% trust, and you can communicate with few words very quickly, and they can execute. Because we got to keep going.
Totally agree with that.
A perfect example. Riff always says, when we're putting together our squad, we're putting an engine in a car. And depending on what kind of engine you put in that car is going to depend on how fast and how efficient you're going to go. So if you're not properly staffed with the right people, you're only going to move so fast so far. But if you got the right premium engine with the right pieces
and the right oil,
you can't do.
Yep.
So
I love that. Me and Dan Ringy, my guest on Monday, the director of the first AD of the Netflix film that's coming out, Fatal Affair, on the 16th. He was talking about that as well. Like, actually, you guys actually like said some really similar stuff today, like about how each person in the production is as important as the next, and the people who do even the smallest jobs are as important to do the biggest jobs, because with and you can only work as fast as the slowest person is going. So your team has to be as strong as it can possibly be, and you have to be behind everybody as much as humanly possible, because you're not getting it done as efficiently or as well, or maybe not even at all, without everyone. Without every single part. And that kind of goes into my next question, and what you guys were kind of already talking about here is, like, when I work in either in music, like if I go in, like, do, like, if I'm writing with people, or if I'm doing or if I'm going to be performing with people, or even on film, like when I've worked on specific projects before, sometimes I just tend to, like, fall in love with, like, the group I'm working with. Did that happen on Pump?
Oh, God.
Like, big time?
Oh, man. They're family. It's family.
Nice.
And I think it goes back to what you were saying earlier about Corey getting really lucky with the actors.
Sure.
Part of what happens is, if you already have a core group of people that you work with all the time, if you're an actor who's never worked with this core before, the first thing you're going to look to see is, how is the director treating everybody? Does the director value other people's opinions, their thoughts? Will he let you improv for one take as long? And once people kind of come in and they see a system that's already moving, and a system that's already available, and he's such an actor's director, then what happens is a lot of, and I can say, because I've been on so many different sets on either side, but as an actor, you look to see, what is the crew moving like, what does the director seem like he's flexible with, and the more comfortable the team is, the more comfortable you come in as an actor, and you can just deliver. And I think people came in and the actors were like, wait a minute, this is cool. They're having fun. Nobody feels like they're working. That's why we work.
That's the best work environment
we're having
ever.
Fun. So the actors, all those the nerves, the things you normally have to take so long to get over, you're like, all right, let's play, and everybody jumps in, and then you can just get those performances you need quicker, because you're not stripping away so much to get there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I want to say, just thanks to Urban Flicks TV.
Oh yeah.
And Herb Kimball, who allowed us the creative freedom to be able to really be 100% free in how we put this show together, and where we took it to. So thanks to them. We appreciate that.
Absolutely. That's really cool. Yeah, you guys check out Pump on Urban Flicks TV. In fact, let's go ahead and take a moment and check out the trailer for Pump.
Hello, Pumpers. Here's the latest with that crazy Jim in Inglewood. Pumps, very own Sean Ford made it to the big leagues. Your boy came up.
You want to be the best you can be? Then power punch him.
Celebrity trainer Sean Ford's fitness empire is in jeopardy.
Did it ever occur to you that you needed to have supplements thoroughly tested before selling them to the public?
No, I tested them.
No, you didn't.
So you're not here to get your job back?
I'm Sean Ford. I single-handedly kept the lights on at QVC.
And now you're back here.
People love a great comeback story.
And Pumpers, pull out your popcorn, because it's going to be one hell of a ride.
You almost lost us the gym today. The gym.
Let it pump in here.
All right. Pump.
I haven't seen that in a little while.
Yeah, you guys check out Pump on Urban Flicks TV. And where can they find Urban Flicks TV? Is Urban Flicks TV its own streaming service, or is it also a channel available on other services as well?
Both.
Right.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, you can find it on urbanflixtv.com. It's also on the Apple TV, Roku.
Yeah, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, you can if you have a smart TV, you can get Urban Flicks. You just have to download the Urban Flicks.
Just download, put the channel on your TV and the app on your TV,
exactly.
and knock it out.
They have ours is the first original series.
Yeah.
They have three or four right now. Ton of movies, comedy, and stuff.
That's cool.
A very new network, and hey, they gave us the opportunity to do something really, really great without their hands in the mix. Kind of trusted us a little bit.
I love that.
So,
I love that.
That's very rare to find. So
well, Urban Flicks, y'all are looking for content. Let's talk. I got a ton of ideas. So
they're definitely looking for content. That's for sure.
Let's knock something out. Anyway, so when I was a kid, I had a very unique experience. When I actually probably not unique. I'm pretty sure most people who work in film and television actually had the same experience, just different, probably in different ways. I was at the movies when I was younger, and I saw 2 movies in the same day. I think I talked to Dan about this the other day. I saw Maverick with Mel Gibson and Jodie Foster, and I saw Brain Scan with Edward Furlong. It was just like a little sci-fi horror film, and I watched these films, and I remember watching Maverick and thinking to myself how magical it was to watch this movie on the screen, and how that's what I wanted to do. I was like, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of movies. I want to act. I want to do this. You know, did you ever have that moment? And if you did, what one movie was it when you were like looking at the screen and you were like, that's it, I'm doing that?
Well, I'll go first. Well,
yeah.
Well, it's kind of 2 in a way.
Okay, I dig it. Okay, I can dig it.
Star Wars, I'm a big Star Wars buff.
Okay.
So that got my imagination going from playing with little figures as a little kid and making little stories and stuff. And then as I got older, when I was in high school, I saw the movie House Party. And
with Kid and Play?
Yeah, Kid and Play.
Okay, I love it.
But what was
I remember them all, dude.
But what was unique about that movie was when I first time I found out about the directors. There's 2 black guys from East St. Louis, Illinois.
Okay.
And I'm from Illinois. And I said, and I had never heard of these guys, and they made this movie. I'm like, if they can do it, I think this is something I want. I think it's something I can do. You know what I mean?
No shit. You heard the story of how these dudes made this movie, and you said, if they can do it, I can do it.
It was primarily, I liked the movie, but it was primarily where they were from. They weren't from Hollywood.
Interesting.
They were from outside the system, and they were able to get in. And they're from East St. Louis, Illinois. Anybody know East St. Louis, Illinois? That's as hood as you can get,
right?
Off the radar.
So you're telling me that because, not necessarily because of the movie, but because when you found out that it was a real thing, it was something you could touch when you found out they were from your area.
Because I'm from the Spielberg, George Lucas, that magical age. When I was a little kid, those were all the big ETs.
E.T. Oh right.
Oh my God.
Right.
Which I feel is like one of the best movies of all time. If you want to talk about emotion, how you feel, it's multiple genres in that one movie.
That's one of the things that the '80s did great.
Yeah.
The '80s just had good movies.
The feels.
They're just good movies. They weren't even like comedy or genre or whatever. They were just like
stories.
They were so
those made me want to make the movies, but seeing those guys pull that movie off,
that's when you knew you could do it.
Believe I could actually do it,
and you just did.
Yeah,
dude.
Been doing it, yeah.
You know, do you okay? So what? Like, all right. Before I move on to my next question for Corey, I need to know what movie it was for you, Lanett, that got you that made you, I got to do this.
It's tricky for me. I'll say that I knew I wanted to do film, and I wanted to figure out how to be on camera and also do off camera stuff because of my mother. She was a storyteller. And it wasn't, so for me,
what do you mean by a storyteller?
Like, my mom would create kids' books and children's stories.
No way.
And so when I grew up,
we
couldn't really watch TV in the house because they didn't want us to watch things that we weren't supposed to watch. So I'm the oldest of 4, so I'd inherited that trait from my mom at an early age. Outside of television, it was just, she would read Anansi the Spider, and then she would make up her own stories, and we would learn life lessons and not realize we were learning life lessons,
of course,
because we were just excited about the stories.
Awesome.
But then when I was able to watch movies, again, these were regulated. These are, hey, it's movie night. These are the movies we would watch. Terminator.
I love it.
Rocky, all of them. And then finally Jurassic Park. So I would say that Rocky made me realize, especially learning the story later on with Sylvester Stallone.
Oh my God, of how it happened. Oh, for sure.
And the fact that he had to fight his way to be on the screen.
Yes.
And so that was very inspirational. And then Terminator, I've always been in love with Terminator.
I love that.
And the sci-fi / action genre that combines, those 2 movies specifically embody every part of me. The sci-fi, the action, the writing, the acting in front. So I would say it's a combination of those 2 movies.
That is really cool.
And my mama.
That is awesome. That is really cool. That and Terminator is a staple. Terminator is a staple of my childhood. Like, I can remember being a kid, and I remember when it came out, but I remember the very first time I saw it, I was afraid of it. Like, I was like, oh my God, like this guy's gonna kill me. And then but movies like Predator and the Lethal Weapons, the Die Hards, like the Rockies, growing up on those films, man, it was just something else, Like we were just talking, all those movies that we all just talked about were made in that
time.
like that time. You know what I mean? Like
they stand the test of time still.
Yeah.
they totally do, and they totally do. So how did you how did going the traditional route of a degree in film help you to be successful where maybe others weren't? And what I mean by that is you, like going back to saying that you saw this thing and you said, hey, this is what I want to do, and you did it. What set you aside from, and all you aspiring filmmakers out there, pay attention right now, take notes right now, what set you aside from the other filmmakers who went to Howard University, who went to Loyola University, who went to all these places, who never used their degree, who never got themselves into making films and doing something that they absolutely loved and went to school for and were passionate about? What separated you from them? Why are you where you are and why are they not?
I would say it's 2 words: passion and destiny.
Passion and destiny.
I knew when I went there that this is what I was going to do. I was going to be making movies. When I went to film school, I went there to get the knowledge and the know-how to be able to understand cinematography, understand screenwriting, understand how to put a production together. And while I was there, I used my Pell Grant money to make my first feature film that I sold while I was still in film school. When we would do like casting, and shout out to Buddha Pratt, my editor and my producer partner from Howard, who's out here with me now. We would do casting calls at Howard, and like it'd be 300 people showing up at the school to be in one of our projects.
Dang.
We were like really like on this, like we want to make it. We're gonna make these movies, and shot my first feature while I was still in college with my Pell Grant money. I wouldn't recommend it, but I did it and I sold it, and that's what got me to LA. But it's really about just knowing this is what I'm supposed to do by any means necessary, and just not stopping.
So would I be right in saying that you made a decision to do something and just followed through with it?
Yeah, exactly what it is.
Yeah, I think it is, dude. I think you really just, I mean, you knocked it out of the park, dude. Like, you took a step in a direction where a lot of people won't even take the first.
Well, the thing is,
you took all of the steps. Well, and you made it to where you're supposed to be, where you wanted to be.
Eddie, life happens.
Not everyone does that, man.
Life happens to a lot of people. It makes you go but I feel if you set a goal, you may zigzag
totally
around, but as long as you still moving
working
forward
towards it,
get that. It doesn't stop, and I think sometimes people just either they get disappointed, or or something happens life-wise,
they burn out,
or they get too preoccupied with what's happening to this person on left or right, why they're here and why you're not there, and and they get in their mind too much instead of just focusing on their goal. You got to run your race.
That's right.
That's so true,
and that's why I've been blessed to be able to make a living doing what I love to do. So.
Well, a lot of people have gone through film school, and a lot of people, have gotten their degree in film, and really not and not been able to capitalize on it. I would also go as far as to say that from an outside perspective, looking at you, I see something in you. I see something in particular that you may have been able to utilize in this, and I see a personable aspect to connecting with people. And in my experience, film is a very people connected industry. If you're not able to get along with people, they're not going to want to work with you. And I'm not talking about just your cast and crew. I'm talking about even above the line producers who are even looking to potentially fund a film that you may be doing, or fund a project, or a channel like Urban Flicks TV. When they sat down and met with you, their decision probably wasn't based solely on are the numbers good, is the thing good. They probably wanted to look in your face and see, is this dude for real? What's he talking about? Let's see his other stuff. And if you were able to make an emotional connection with these people, these entities, these groups, and I feel that you did that. I feel that you did that with Chavez. I feel that you did that with Riff. I feel that you did that with Lanett. I feel that when you meet certain people along the way, and you say, here's where I'm going. Want to come with me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're like, hey, I'm going there too.
Yeah,
let's all get in the same car and go.
That's exactly what
and save gas.
That's what it's like.
But yeah, exactly. But you put this this skill and this talent of networking into play. You actually you implemented it instead of just having the idea of I'm gonna go to Hollywood and become this director. You like came to Hollywood and you weren't afraid to like go out and shake hands and say, hey, I'm Corey, this is what I can do, I'm here, this is what I have done. Because you can come out here and have all of the credits in the world, but not ever talk to anybody or put your be ambitious enough to call some companies and make meetings for yourself. But somehow you came out here having a master's in film from Hollywood, and you put your best foot forward, and then you put your next best foot forward, and then the next one. And you took every step along the way, even if you had obstacles, even if you had those little things. Earl Nightingale says it best. He said it best. He said, success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal or ideal. Now, that doesn't mean you have to have already achieved said thing. It's a progressive realization of such thing. Meaning as long as you know what it is that you're working towards, and you're working towards it, even if you're zigzagging, like you said, and you're still going towards that goal, then you're a success. Then you are a success. And Corey, I think a lot of people really could take a lesson, to take a page out of your book and say, look, not only did he train himself in his craft, not only did he become great at what he does, but he went out there and did the business aspect of it too, which is beyond a lot of people. The ambition and drive part, they think that if I'm the greatest at my thing, somebody's going to find me. Man, I mean...
Well, the thing about it is, there's one thing I'll say, and, Lanett, we've been producing together for a few years now, and writing together, but one thing is never waiting for permission to do anything. I don't wait for permission. So good. I love that. I haven't had to go out and run and get somebody to co-sign me, and I haven't had to didn't have to go out and schmooze my way to get an opportunity. And I'm not knocking that. Some people do that way, and they get there quick. Whether it keeps you there, I don't know. But whatever way you do to get to where you got to get to is fine. But just for me personally, my thing was never asking for permission and just doing it. And then along those ways, certain situations that weren't afforded to me early on start materializing. And Lanett and I, both since we've been working together, we live by that. Never asking.
And I think part of it too is just always being protective of our visions. So it's kind of like when you have the vision, the first thing people will do before you get everything in place, before you contact the team and get everything running, they'll say, "Oh yeah, you can't do that because," and then they'll give you the list of every single reason that you can't do what it is you just said you wanted to do. So we started saying, okay, we're going to write this, we're going to write this, we're going to write this, we're going to have all these things. And then now we have the people in place to help bring the vision forward so that when the naysayers come with what we can't do, there's always a counter. It's already done. That part's done.
You already got the infrastructure done. Like, you're tripping. Yeah. Like, it's like, oh, you can't do it because of this. Like, no. We already thought 10 steps ahead. You guys are way
on it right now. Yeah.
I mean, even now, like we're going into sci-fi more.
Yeah.
You remember when we did Lost Coast, we had a little bit of digital effects.
Totally.
But even now, we're going full-fledged into that because now we have a great special effects artist, Dorian Otero, who came on to Pump and gave us the confidence to move into these other stories that we wanted to tell that maybe we were lacking in-house with some of the effects, but now we have that in-house now. So now it's nothing that we can't make or do.
Because we always say, write what we can produce. Write what we know we can, so that nobody can say you can't do this, you can't do explosions, you can't do blah blah blah.
Exactly.
But now that our team has included, and a VFX artist who we really stand behind, that even changes the scope of what we can write. That we feel that we can self-produce.
Absolutely. And you know what? I like to call that, I don't know if anybody else has I'm sure that a lot of people have seen the Relativity, but I like to call that the Hitchcock Method. Alfred Hitchcock used to make incredible films with 1, 2, maybe 3 people in one place with a killer story and dope dialogue. And it would just blow your mind. Like, go watch Rear Window. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, go watch The Rope. You know what I mean? 2 people in that movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, go watch these movies and you'll understand how. And that's what I like to do. Like, I was telling you before that I have almost 50 treatments for horror shorts, and they're all 1, 2, 3 people max, and you might get like 1 or 2 people like at the end that like show up that you might need for like an hour or 2. But they're all contained. They're all contained shoots where you can shoot them with 1 one camera with a skeleton crew, a good sound guy. You know what I mean? You know, just get a solid team.
At the end of the day, audiences don't care how much you spend. I mean, we've been blessed to get budgets and done well late. You know what I mean? But starting out,
really nice.
We had very little. But at the end of the day, and even early on, we had like no celebrities or whatever earlier on.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, what I know and what I've learned is, if an audience can connect to the story and the characters, they can give a fuck less who's in it.
It doesn't matter about your explosions.
They
it doesn't matter.
Nope. Don't matter. You watch Blair Witch Project. Nobody knew who was in that, and by the end of the movie, everyone who watched it was invested.
Yeah, and that's what it is. So there's two things that you don't need a green light from Hollywood to write a kick-ass fucking script. You can write a kick-ass script for free.
That's right.
You know what I mean? It all starts with the script, and then your movie should be 3 times to 10 times better.
Yeah.
You made a great script, your movie's gonna be even better. That's
exactly
the motto. And as long as you can do that, you're great. And then write what you can do. If you can't do the big elaborate super car chase with 15 cars,
I know,
save that one for later.
Yeah,
right. Wait till you get the budget for that one.
And rate the stories. A lot of times you see movies, and then you see people that have a large budget, and you see what they put on the screen is a bunch of BS.
You wonder where the budget went.
It's like,
where the money go?
Right.
So it's and then it all goes down to that person as an artist. Are you in it for the art and to be able to create, or are you in it just try to make a quick buck? If you're ready to make a quick buck, then that's cool. I get it. The money comes. The money comes, and I've been blessed.
Money comes and money goes.
Yeah. So you can't if that's your only motivation to get into it. I probably find something else to do.
For sure, dude. Like I don't know any people who work in film who are like money motivated. They all want to be filmmakers. They all
you're
want
out of here right as soon as you come in. If that's what it is, you're right back out.
Now, Lanett, you always wanted to be on camera. Now, Corey, what the hell made you want to be a director? I mean, what the hell? Who says I want to be the guy that like creates everything you see on camera? You know what I mean? Like who says that? What kind of control freak are you?
What kind
Corey?
of weirdo?
It's really simple. True story. Sophomore year in high school, I took my first. Some girl I was trying to talk to was in the drama class.
Okay. Always a girl.
There
motivator.
It is.
And I took drama. It was all about acting, and then they made us. Write a play, and you had to write something. And so was forced to write something that I didn't care about, but I wrote something. But then when I got a chance to see the actors up there kind of reenacting what I wrote, and I was watching, I was like, oh, wow, there's something to that. And I got the little bug. So it's like when you're a director, even when you're in a movie theater and you're seeing your movie up there, like a lot of times I couldn't even sit in the theater with people. I'd be so nervous. And I'm not even up there. Because when you're looking at something, you feel that's you up there.
Baby.
And that's when you know you're really a director. When you see yourself there, and you're nervous or you're right. friends until you see you get the artist participation, makes you feel good. That's when you know. So even though I'm physically not on the camera, like I'm nervous not being in front of this camera.
All right.
If I'm not thinking about it.
Sure.
But just knowing that is you up on the screen, even though it's not you, that's when you know you're a director. So as far as actors, I don't know how they do it.
Well,
I can't do it.
It's different for me. I'll say I went to Howard as well, and
you did? Awesome.
Yeah. So it's so funny. We end up attracting so many Howard people in our core group.
Right.
So I went to Howard and I got my BFA in theater arts, and then I was studying, of course, writing while I was there, theater while I was there, all these things that you do before you get on the bus and you get off to LA and you're like, I've arrived. And what LA quickly teaches you is that you have to become a multi-hyphenate if you weren't already.
Sure.
And so my thing,
it's almost required when you get here.
It's kind of like, because right now there's so many ways to enter, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or whatever mediums you have, there's so many outlets. So if you're not creating something for yourself, it's pointless, and it'll take you 30 times as long waiting for somebody else to create something for you. So it made me have to lean in harder on those skills that I acquired when I was writing, even in short form there, and doing the things that I was able to put up while I was at Howard, and then really, really focus in. And that's why I was thankful when we started writing, and it became more second nature to me. Because at first I was very, actor forward, actor brain forward, and then now when we do productions, I'll jump from producer. It's now I'm on camera, and now I have to do some rewrites because we might have the location just shifted. So it makes you a lot more valuable to to a production when you can. And we say a lot of people we work with are multi-hyphenates because we all have to take off certain hats, especially with a small budget, especially with the skeleton crew. You need to be able to do something more a lot of times than just the one thing that you say, this is my love. You got to love something, but then you got to be really good
at a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Right.
No, you're really right about that too. And most of the people that I like, for instance, like I've directed a couple things. I don't think you've ever seen anything that I've done. I'll send you a couple things.
I knew about the short film series you had, the Twilight Zone. Like
yeah,
I can't wait to see.
Well, I directed 2 of those, and I directed a little like a pilot for like an MMA. It was a sizzle reel for an MMA show.
Oh no.
Yeah, we had on. It was actually really cool. Kimbo Slice's son was one of the fighters.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and another Joey. God, I can't remember his last name. Oh fuck, I can't remember his last name. He was the first kid to ever go undefeated in Division II NCAA wrestling, 134-0.
Wow.
Whoa.
And he's in Bellator now, but it was going to be this little thing. I'll show that to you afterwards. But man, I'd love to show you some of my work too, man. I see all your work on the big screen, and I'm like, all my stuff's on like
Eddie Boo's.
You know?
What'd you say about success? You're still working.
Still working at it. You know what I mean? Like
we like to create. We're creative people.
Yes.
Right.
With the right. Yes. That's just all we do.
Everybody wears different hats. Yeah. I write. I have. I've directed. I've produced. And you know what's funny is like sometimes you just got to go out and shoot it the way you can do it.
Yep.
The guy Dan who was on Monday, he directed the very first thing that I ever wrote. We had just done Lost Coast. I was auditioning for some things, and I was getting a couple things and not getting others. And I thought to myself, you know what? I just produced a good budget film. Let me write something, and I'm gonna make this myself. And I took it to my buddy, and he was like, "Well, you wrote a play. It's not a script." He's like, "Change this to movie script form," And then he said, "Bring it back to me," and I did. And he's like, "All right, it'll take 6 months to pre-produce this, and I'll do it." He said, "I don't have anything going on. This is in between his lifetime projects that he was doing," and I said, I said, "Okay." So he goes, "It'll, I go." 6 months. I go, I can do this in 2 weeks. He goes, what do you need done? And he goes, you got to do casting, you got to get props, you got to do this, you got to do that. I was like, I'll call you on Monday and I'll tell you when to be at my house for casting, and the rest of it I'll take care of. He shows up at my house a week later. There was 40 people sitting in my living room to read for parts for a short that I had written. Like that. No, I was. Dude, and we made this thing, and I made a mistake. Remember how we were talking about contained shooting?
Yeah.
I shot this thing with weapons.
Oh, for sure.
15 people were in it. Like, you know what I mean? We were outside in the front yard in the middle of the night screaming for this girl who went missing, and with knives and shit in our hands. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm sure the neighbors loved you.
The neighbors loved me. I moved shortly thereafter, actually, so I timed it just right. On my way out the door. But I learned my lesson. I mean, and sometimes you just I learned my lesson and sometimes you just got to do. And I'd rather shoot something good today than wait for someday to shoot something perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Someday is not a day of the week.
Yeah, and you're gonna get better at it anyway. You're just gonna your projects are gonna get better.
Every project, no matter how much budget we had or how great we thought it was, and came out really good, there's always something that I said, I wish I could do that different.
I know.
It'll never stop.
I wish I could do that a little bit better. I wish I could do that a little bit better.
The best
Every
thing you
time.
did was go out and just
do it.
Yes, exactly. And if nothing more to put your art into practice. If for nothing more to experience something you love.
Me and her we get into it sometimes because how I started. You start getting bigger budget, start getting used to getting more stuff.
Oh boy!
And then I said, okay, we're gonna do something small, and then it's going to something bigger.
And then I give a speech. I say, we always say we're gonna do something small. Let's really contain. No, it's fine. We're just gonna need 5 more grips. Then no, just finish. We're gonna need, and then it goes and it swells and it swells.
But just realizing, like, hey, what got you out here? You still can go back and do that things if you want to, but you get used to getting so much different things, more elements. You got to remind yourself what the core aspect of filmmaking is, and knowing how to be creative with that when you're bored or when you're tired of waiting on another project to get greenlit. Like, you should never stop shooting if you can. Just always shooting something.
Just wrote something that I'm gonna shoot, edit, it's gonna be all self-contained. Here, I wrote a single man story that's, I think, interesting enough to hold. I will need to shoot like old home video footage.
Okay.
With me and like somebody who's gonna play my wife and somebody like that for me to be watching on and off throughout the movie. But other than that,
is that the one with the TV?
No, dude, that one I gotta. Dude, we got. No one has made that one yet, by the way. But this one is very contained, very me. I'm gonna shoot it with one camera, edit it myself, and I'm probably gonna edit it as I shoot. And dude, like, I mean, it's like, and now's the time, guys. Now's the time when you're out there. You got a Canon DSLR, whatever you got. At, you know, you can take your phone, put the phone recorder in your pocket, and talk and get good audio. You don't even have to get camera audio. I mean, you just think nowadays. Like, you don't have to.
I will say this. Right now, the climate, because everything is shut down.
Yeah.
And a lot of the studios run out of content because they can't shoot. So right now, the playing field is
getting a little bit even.
Yeah.
Interesting. I had no idea.
There's no theatrical releases going on right now.
Well, looks like I'm gonna shoot something then.
There we go.
So if you can shoot something that's good with theatrical quality,
dig it,
and that's comparable to what you see, you can get some great.
You can get some actual release right now. No kidding.
Great
okay.
Sales, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah, we need to talk about some stuff. All right. So you know what? Let's check out your director's reel. Actually, you down with that?
Sure. Why not?
All right, Corey. We're gonna check out Corey Grant's director's reel. Here we go, you guys.
Okay, here's the story. About a minute ago, we heard what sounded like a gun. Man, Jesus! Get down! He's right fucking there! Move! Move right back! Hey, right back! It's Sean! It's Sean! Whoa! Put the gun down! Put the gun down! Let us help you! Hold on! What? Drive back! Stay down, man! Tell us what's going on! Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
No way you let your little dirty little secret out with all your friends here. Nah. You wouldn't do that.
I know damn well I only wanted to stop until Skylar went to school.
The answer's no! Do you understand me? The answer's no, so stop pushing me on your damn pipe dreams!
As far as leaving, I'm afraid that's impossible.
The hell it is!
Wait, what? We're getting out of here and you're gonna give me the goddamn keys.
Put the gun down!
I'm not afraid of going to prison for messing you up.
Yes.
Oh God!
Corey Grant, director.
Ow!
I love it. That was dope, dude.
Right.
All right, you guys. I got a game for you, Corey. I got a game for you. You are every time somebody comes in here who's a movie buff, I tend to know, because you have social media. You know what people are into. My other buddy Danny was a big Bruce Willis fan, so I had to ask him a bunch of Bruce Willis questions earlier in the week. And now I got you on, so I'm going to have to ask you some Star Wars quotes, because I know you're a Star Wars guy. So I'm going to say some Star Wars quotes, and you're going to tell me who said the quote, all right?
I'm tapping out of this one.
All right, here we go. All right, first one is, I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
I hope that was the question.
That was a joke. All right, here we go. All right, number one. I kind of made these too easy. I was looking up a bunch of them last night, and I was like, he would never know that. He would never know that. I should have picked way harder ones, by the way, because once he got here, he was pretty much like, I got this. So, all right, here we go. Never tell me the odds.
Come on, it's Han Solo.
Okay, here we go. One for one.
That sounds like me.
One for right, exactly. All right. This is another easy. This should be another fairly simple one. These aren't the droids you're looking for.
So Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, indeed. 2 for 2. Here we go. I suggest the new strategy, R2. Let the Wookiee win.
C-3PO.
C-3PO, indeed. Very good. Okay. I've got a bad feeling about this.
That could be anybody. Everybody says that.
Everybody does say that. All right. Who coined it first?
Who did coin that? I would say Han Solo.
You're right. Okay. You're right again. Damn it! I thought I might actually get you because of the technicality, but no, I didn't. All right, here we go. This is this one's my favorite, and this is the last one I got for you. I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Oh, the big black guy, Darth Vader.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for my guests for joining me today. Lanett Tachel, Mr. Corey Grant, and Miss Daisy down there chilling in the corner. You guys are amazing. Thank you for joining us in the listening room today. Join us tomorrow night at 6:30 for our musical guest of the week, Mr. Brian Baker, in here with some woodwind awesomeness. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Thank you guys. Love you all. Thanks for being a part of the listening room tonight. My name is Eddie Booze. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notifications, and give the video a like. We'll see you guys every Monday through Friday right here at 6:30. Take care.